150,000 naira might seems like a lot, but when you realize it is just $95, it puts things into perspectives. The naira has been fluctuating, so it is hard to say whether it is going down or it is going up. One thing that needs clarification is that phones themselves aren't becoming more expensive. It is the exchange rate that is unstable. That is why a phone that cost around 100k last year might be twice now. If 150,000 naira is what you have and you are desperately looking for a good phone within that range, so I've got some options for you. Keep in mind, these phones are budget phones, so you don't expect too much from them, but they will meet your needs whether you are looking for a great display, a great camera, performance, design, or battery life. These phones are going to deliver. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and stick around till the end of this video so that you don't miss any part of the video. So let's dive in. I've categorized these phones into two groups: old flagships and new budget phones. With these old flagships, you get the best performance on a budget, along with a good camera and a sharp display. There are some compromises which comes with this phone, such as outdated design, weaker battery life, outdated software, and more. But if you don't mind using an old phone, or you have a way to work around all these compromises, then you are good to go. So the first old flagship phones on my list is the Galaxy S9. The Galaxy S9 is still a pretty good, solid option in 2024. It offers performance that none of the phones on the list can match, thanks to the Snapdragon 845 processor. While the processor is still an old processor built on a 10nm process, it still performs well in 2024, outperforming most new budget smartphones that we see now. The display is also outstanding, a 5.8-inch Super AMOLED display with a 1440 by 2960 pixels, all protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 5. You won't get all these features from new budget phones. Before you consider getting this phone, you should know that it comes with an Android 8, which should have been upgraded to Android 10 by now. If you require the latest software update, this phone might not be for you. Another downside is that the battery at 3000 is relatively small in 2024, especially compared to the new budget phones that comes with a minimum of 5000 mAh battery. But if you have a battery pack or you don't mind using an outdated smartphone, it is really a good buy. The camera on this phone is also impressive. 12MP lens on the rear that can record 4K video, along with an 8MP front camera. The 4GB of RAM and 64GB storage variant of this phone should cost you no less than 150,000. The price is a bit higher for 128GB and 256GB variant. Next on my list is the iPhone 7 Plus. Trust me, this phone is a camera beast. I'm not sure what kind of engineering magic was used to build this camera, because the spec is nothing crazy. The dual rear camera setup includes a 12MP wide lens and a 12MP telephoto lens capable of shooting 4K videos, and there is a 7MP front camera that records 1080p. Now, under good lighting condition, this phone can still hold its own in photography when compared to the newer models like the iPhone 15. Okay, that was a joke. I was kidding actually, but seriously, it performed exceptionally well when it comes to handling photos and videos. So apart from camera, you can use this phone for all your regular tasks: making calls, which of course is the main purpose of a phone, sending messages, running simple apps. So however, you don't want to try heavy games on this phone, as the battery won't last long and it is no longer receiving software updates, making it completely outdated. I recommend this phone if you are looking for a budget-friendly option with a strong focus on camera quality. So 150k for iPhone 7 Plus, it's a good buy. Now let's move to the new budget phones. The Itel P55 Plus is number one in this category. Unlike the old flagships I mentioned earlier, the Itel P55 Plus has a modern design featuring a punch hole display, a side-mounted fingerprint sensor, a large 5000 mAh battery. It is powered by a Unisoc processor, 8GB of RAM, 90Hz refresh rate, 113 50MP rear camera. That's not bad at all. I tried to find the best price for this phone, and 151,000 is the lowest I found for 8GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. It might be cheaper if you buy locally. Considering all these features this phone offers, it is a very good price. Infinix Hot 40i is another alternative. If you are not a fan of Itel P55 Plus design, then the Infinix Hot 40i might be worth considering. While both phones are different on the outside, their internals are quite similar. The Infinix Hot 40i offers a general 62 MP front camera at a price that is lower than that of the Itel P55. Now let's move to the OG Redmi 13C. As you can see, I got one for myself too. It is currently the most common Redmi phone out there, and everyone seems to be using it. This is one of the most well-rounded budget smartphone you can get right now under 150,000. It is a good-looking phone. It features a large 6.7-inch LCD display, 90Hz, 50MP main camera, 8 gigs of RAM, up to 8 gigs of RAM, MediaTek Helio G85, and a 5000 mAh battery. In my research for the best price, I found it listed for around 164,000 naira for 8 gigs of RAM and 256 GB storage variant. If you opt for a lower configuration like 4 gigs of RAM and 128 GB of internal storage variant, you might find it under 150,000. Honestly, it's worth it. The next on the list is the Galaxy A05. It shares similar specs with the other new budget smartphone I've mentioned, but it is missing something that seems very important to me: the fingerprint sensor. It is not side mounted, it is not on the rear, it is definitely not on the screen. In fact, there is no fingerprint at all. So you can use Face ID, which is less secure, or you have to rely on password, PIN, or pattern every time to unlock your phone. The phone itself isn't bad at all, but it is not something I will personally use. If you want to experience Samsung interface on a budget, it is a good buy. It features MediaTek Helio G85, 113, 6.7-inch display, 50MP main camera, 5000 mAh battery, just like other budget phones. So I checked online, focusing on well-rated products. Then I found 4GB by 64GB variant listed for 150,000. Then last on my list is the Itel S24. Itel S24 is considered the best phone under 150,000. Itel has been incredibly generous with this phone, making it hard to believe it is a budget option. It features a 90Hz 6.6-inch LCD screen, a 108 megapixel rear camera, which is a rare on a budget phone, 113 MediaTek Helio G91 Ultra processor. I believe it should perform better than the G85 found in the Redmi 13C and other budget smartphone I mentioned. It also gets a side-mounted fingerprint sensor and a 5000 mAh battery. The white variant seems to be more expensive than the black, possibly because the white variant can change color when exposed to light. If you are into that color changing features, you can get it. Otherwise, you can go for the black variant for 136,000, which includes 8 gigs of RAM and then 128 GB of internal storage. So you guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Which of these phones are you trying to buy, or which of them are you currently using? So share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you find this video helpful, you consider subscribing, like this video, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that you'll be the first to see when we drop a new video. We'll catch you guys in the next one.